cool. Um, I have a couple things to say about shadow work. I am not scripted. Let me keep it a buck with you. I'm about to make my coffee now. Please bear with me. So shadow work is basically, you know how we are all like, there's all these like relatable memes on Instagram and TikTok and what have you, where people are calling out our, you know, on our repressed inner trauma, whether it's inner child trauma, inner parent trauma, just general trauma about being yourself. Like it's a thing. Living in the world is a thing. It's not fun. We don't. It's kind of ghetto. It's actually really ghetto. Do not recommend. But we out here anyway, so we got to do something about it. So, to make your existence more enjoyable, and that of the ones your loved ones around you, kind of have to do some shadow work. So, that thing that you said that, you would just get over, or that's just how you are at this point? That's trauma. Bitch, you gotta heal that. Because you can create a life around, everything else other than the trauma, what have you. Don't mind me, I'm making my coffee for real. And I put lotion on my hands so this stuff is slippery. So, but the trauma, it comes in a couple ways. So, first example, it could be childhood trauma. Something went on in your childhood. Your parents, maybe they were divorced. Maybe they fought a lot. Maybe one of them cheated on the other one constantly. Maybe one of them took advantage of the other one. It doesn't matter which one is which. It happens on both sides. Whatever. But the important part when dealing with traumas like that is that you really have to emphasize the focus on healing. Because when you're a child and these things happen to you, no one tells you, oh, here's how you deal with it. They just say, oh, well, your feelings are valid, but, you have things to do. So, let's put those to the side for a little bit so we can get some things done. I don't know if about anybody else. That was just my experience. It was more so, your feelings are valid, but let's just put them to the side for a little bit so we can get some things done. And that was very detrimental because it wasn't, coping with emotions, learning how to handle my emotions, learning how to process my emotions, not to let them process me or feel me or overwhelm me. That wasn't taught to me. So that was part of my childhood trauma that, I am trying to work out of my body, of course. And the way that I personally do that, because I'll start with me this week, and then we'll talk next week about other shit. But what I do for me personally is I hear my feelings out. I used to have a problem where I'd be in circles with people I'd call my friends, and they would, even though I'd be saying something enlightful and inspiring and, interesting, everybody did not give a fuck. Nobody really cared. They were just like, oh, well, da-da-da-da-da, what have you, that's cute or whatever, but, bitch, you talking too much. Pass the fucking blunt. So, in turn, that was kind of like a catalyst for me to say, you know what, y'all some bullshit. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what trauma you're dealing with. If I'm putting you on game 2-3 years before the game comes out, don't be ungrateful. Don't be ungrateful. That's it. So I stopped looking at me as the problem and started looking at how am I going to make myself the solution? Bitch, how am I going to be the solution in my own life? So now I take my visions, my intuitive guidance, my intuitive nudges. If I do a reading with my tarot cards, I take that as gospel. I take that as truth. The conversations that I have with God and what God shows me afterwards, I take that as truth. I take that as fact. What people do, girl, that's wishy-washy. That's wishy-washy. What's next? But the importance is you also have to be able to remember that not every person is wishy-washy. Not every person is going to disregard what you have to say, especially when it's beneficial to them. Because I've noticed after that time, oh, that coffee's good. But I noticed after that time that there seemed to be an influx of the people who I kept around me. They would want to know what I thought. They would want to know how I felt, they saw value in the things that other people saw in me and would disregard. And part of it is, a self-esteem thing, because you have to, what is it? The Lord said that David encouraged himself in the Lord. That's what the Bible said, if I'm not mistaken. David encouraged himself in the Lord. So David rose himself up in God's energy, in God's spirit, in God's love. And that's what we kind of have to do for ourselves in that situation. Don't let anybody make you feel like your voice is not powerful, like you don't have anything to say, like, what you're saying is not important, like you can't, nobody can focus on what you're talking about, like nobody cares. No, this childhood trauma of being unseen, for me personally, growing up Caribbean, Jamaican, gang, can't even do a thing, but Jamaican, gang. And listen, if you're Jamaican and your parents grew up in Jamaica, you know how much in your childhood you needed to be seen and not heard. Period. That's it. Nobody needed to hear you. Nobody needed to hear a damn thing you said. They just needed to see, oh, look at my little princess now, little Pippin now. She has straight A's. She keeps her room clean. That's all they care about. They don't care about, what you think, what you're feeling, what have you. They care about, can you maintain what I've given you? And a lot of people are like that too. And again, that is why you don't have to get mad. You just have to do your shadow work. Because at the end of the day, we all have a part to play in this thing called life. Unfortunately, in some aspects. You can take that as fortunately or unfortunately. I'm saying unfortunately from the perspective of someone who's been in that place where you don't feel like you know where your positioning is. And so you're just like somebody else could do this. I'm sure you could call somebody. I'm sure. And that bitch down the street, I think she got the orange braids too, I think she just got them. Listen, I think she got them last week. I know I just did mine 2 days ago, but I think she did them last week. So you better call her, see if she's free. See if she's free. I'm not the person. Don't do it. That used to be me, And with certain things, it still is. But a lot of that, again, comes from that childhood trauma. You want to be seen and not heard, not understood, not really cared for in the ways that you need, not really nurtured in the ways that you need. But you can't speak up about that because then you're seen as ungrateful. You're not taking with gratitude the things that your parents have given you. You're not taking with gratitude the things that God has given you. And it's just like, girl, I'm not trying to be ungrateful. I'm just trying to be accepted for me. And that is why we heal as adults. That is why we do our shadow work. So that, 5-10 years in the future, when I start having children, God, can we please push it for 10? Because whoo. But the goal is that by the time I'm ready to have children, these are things that I will have found workarounds for, or not even just a workaround, real healing for. Because if you have just a workaround, just a crutch, a bandage you can put over things, it doesn't really fix anything. It covers it up. And we're used to doing that. It's like the garbage can method. Like, you see the garbage can over here. Hang on. Here's a garbage can right here. Now, it's fairly empty right now, which is good. When you're doing your shadow work for your soul, if I'm saying that your mind is a garbage can, I'm not saying that your mind is trash. Please understand that. I'm just saying that your mind is a vessel that you can put anything in. So just like a trash can, and this trash can is fairly empty, thank God. Because some days I be coming out and that shit really is stuffed to the fucking brim and everything's stuffed the fuck down. And that is how we treat our minds a lot of the time. So when we finally go to take the bag out, everything rips and falls apart. And for me, that's what I was most afraid of when doing shadow work, was I've been maintaining this appearance, this illusion of stability for so long, stability within myself and my emotions, with, just general life, that once I pull the bag up, I can't hide anymore how much junk was in that can. You can't hide anymore how much of the, like, the bag is breaking, the bag is ripping, you can't even carry it to the trash can outside because it's already broken, it's busted, so now you have to pick up garbage off the floor. It doesn't have to get to that. Same way we take out our garbage regularly, is the same way that we have to clear our minds regularly. Forgive yourself. Do the work to forgive yourself. One thing, when I was a child, mistakes were a big deal. They were a very big deal. Even remembering back, my mom does not understand how big of a deal mistakes were in that day and age for me. I remember because it molded my formative experience. It molded my formative experience, and it molded the way that I think. So the way that I react to things going wrong is directly drawn from those situations when I was a child, when I was 4, 5, 6 years old, 3 years old, what have you. So the fact that she doesn't even remember doing half of this stuff, it doesn't make it any more or her responsibility. It doesn't make it any less mine. Like, I still gotta heal the shit. So, like, if growing up making a mistake was a huge fucking deal and you had to clean it up immediately and, like, nobody could know about it, coming into adulthood, it feels like every single mistake that you could make is life or death. Like, it's literally going to kill you if you fuck up. Like, even if it doesn't, even if it feels irrational, even if it feels like, oh, I don't know, no, it sometimes really feels like, oh my God, if I make a mistake, that's the end. That's it. If I make a mistake, I'm fucked. Like, but it's not that. And that's part of doing the inner child work. Oh, my peoples, I love y'all. But that's part of doing the inner child work. If you don't do the internal work to say, hey, listen, mistakes happen. It's okay if a mistake happens. I'm not any more or less unworthy because I made a mistake or I messed up here. Just because when I was a child and I made a mistake, everybody would scream at me. And, it was like, oh my God, what's going on? Or I get my ass beat for damn near less than nothing. So now I'm scared to fuck up. I'm scared to mess up. I'm scared to have a down moment, to have a bad moment, to have a moment where I'm just like, I made a mistake. How can I learn from it? I'm now scared to have those. So this is part of my inner child work, is to be okay making mistakes, to come on camera, looking fucked up, with my edges all fucked up, and all the different mistakes that I can see, all the different errors that I can see, the no script having ass, like, I ain't even make my coffee till the start of this shit. So, like, but that's the point. The point of this page, the one I made last, 2 years ago, is so that I can share the shadow work that I've been doing. Now, I haven't been sharing it because, bitch, I've been going through it. And when you do your shadow work, you will find out too. You will go ghost for a couple months, maybe a year, maybe a couple years. The people who care about you, you won't really be going ghost from them because they're still gonna call. They're gonna call you. They're gonna text you. They're gonna make sure that you're good, what have you. But when you're doing your shadow work, please expect every single fake person, anything that you thought may not have a place in your life, every fake person, every fake friend, every fucking, the job that you're not supposed to stay in, the fucking, all of this shit is gonna go. Once you start making moves towards who you're supposed to be, the things that are not authentic to your journey, to who you are, they leave. Say a prayer and thank God for it. Thank God for it. Thank God for it. I'm going to say it again. Thank God for it. Thank God for it. I thank God for every single person that left me when I was in a low space. Because guess what, bitch? When I'm rich, don't call me. Don't fucking call me. When I'm peaceful, like I am now, when I'm happy, like I am now, don't fucking call me because you're upset. Don't fucking call me because you didn't take the advice when I gave it to you the first time. You can catch the book later. I don't give a fuck. Because when I was there, everybody that knows me personally knows that I was there for my friends when I was doing my shadow work. Even when I wasn't really, I had this, that, and the third going on, I was always there for my friends. Y'all always got the hookup. Y'all always got the downloads. Y'all always got the readings. Y'all always got the advice, everything. So if you got kicked out of the circle and you didn't get shit in the last year and a half, you didn't get no advice, nothing in the last 2 years, boo-boo, I'm sorry, but that's all you. Figure out how you're going to fix it. We doing shadow work over here. We're healing over here. We're moving the fuck on over here. We're not doing none of that fake shit where we're going to sit in our problems and be like, Oh my God. The same thing happened like 2 years ago. And I know. Girl, fuck that. Fuck that. No. No. Mm-mm. No, we came here. Listen, we came here. And I feel this strongly because, again, daughter of immigrants. We came here to be better than our parents. To be better than our grandparents. To have better lives. They did not sacrifice so that we could sit here and be scared in our own bodies to live our lives. My grandmother did not come from Jamaica to America and have to send for her damn small children to have me sit in my body at 25 years old and not be happy. And not be okay. And be concerned about what other dirty ass people are thinking. Fuck out of here. No, as a person, especially if you're black, especially if you're Caribbean, you have a responsibility to yourself and your bloodline to be happy, to be peaceful, to be free. You have a responsibility to your bloodline. So it's time now to go claim our birthright. Fuck out of here. And peace is my birthright. I don't know about you, but peace is my birthright. Happiness is my birthright. Like, have the ability to have everything that I want and need is my birthright. That's it. And I'm not coming for anything less. That's it. And the way that we do that is you say, you know what, I'm actually worthy of this. I don't have to sabotage this. I don't have to make this thing smaller. I don't have to act like, oh, this person may be better for the job than me. That's it. I know what I can do. You know what I can do. And even on a bad day, I know I'm still a bad bitch, like, period. Like, how much shit have I gotten done on days when I didn't feel like shit? Months and months on end, I would be there depressed as fuck, miserable as fuck, suicidal as fuck, and nobody knew. I'd be at the job, damn near employee of the fucking month if I wanted to kiss ass enough for it. But listen, we ain't gonna get into that. So if I can do that much and I feel like shit, how much more can I do in the benefit of myself? In the benefit of myself. And it's not just benefiting me, it's benefiting my bloodline because every single person in my family is on the same time now. Girl, listen, if you knew what was going on in 2015, if you were there for 2016, if you knew what happened in 2017, if you were there when my mom kicked me out, listen, and I'll be going over there for Sunday dinners. We be chilling. We family now. And that's what happens when you do the shadow work. You actually start to create change in your own family. You actually start to create change in your own life, within your bloodline, within your circle. So yes, when I say I'm doing the shadow work, this is not anything for pussy people. If you're pussy, don't do this shit. Like, stay hidden in the corner, stay acting like you don't know shit. Like, for real. Because this shit almost killed me 3 fucking times already. And I'm still fucking here. Bitch, I'm still fucking here. I'm still fucking here. Can't get rid of me. I'm like a fucking cockroach at this point. Can't get rid of my ass. Fuck out of here. We out here doing the work and claiming our fucking birthrights all year. That's it. So, again, I have no script for this. This is all passion coming from the heart. But this is just a reminder that if you have not started working on your shadow work, working on healing your internal self, working on healing your internal state, girl, fuck is you waiting for? Like, come on now. Come on. Listen. Take a look at why you do the things that you do. Have you ever had a relationship that was similar to one that your parents had? Not even just your mother. Ask your dad about his, what he did. Ask your mom about her little flings. And then see where you come in the middle. It wasn't until I realized that I was in a situationship that mirrored my mom and my dad's, relationship when I was born, that I had to stop and consider, like, hang on a second. Now, I always saw my parents as like these, how did they make these decisions? But now I'm a real person in the same age group. And I'm sitting here looking at the decisions, basically, from my perspective, from my vantage point that they could have made. And I'm like, damn, this would have been a difficult decision. Part of growing up, part of inner child work is forgiving your parents because they are people. Just like you and your friends are flawed, so are they. They and their friends were flawed too. You can't act like they were going to be perfect. I can't act like my mother and my father were going to be perfect. But seeing and understanding what they were doing then helps me understand now what I don't want. what I do not have to continue. There are generational cycles that we do not have to continue because there are lessons that we can take from that. Please take the lesson. Please take the lesson and not the pettiness, not the competition, not the, oh, fuck that nigga because he didn't do this thing for his kids, and da-da-da-da-da, or that nigga never wanted to be here, or that bitch kept me away from my kid. Fuck all that noise. What can you do to stay out of that? Because there were clear decisions that brought them to that point, just like every single one of us. So when I almost ended up in the same position, I was able to look at it and be like, oh, girl, hang on a minute. Okay, all right. And not on no judgmental shit, on some no, bitch, you're really real life in this, what you about to do. And at that moment, it's like, you can't judge yourself. You can't. Because would you judge your mother in that position? Would you step back and see your father in that position as your homeboy and be like, damn, fuck is you doing? Because even if you did, how easy could that happen to you? Because you didn't stop to consider for real. Like, okay, what was the mental state? What was the thinking? What was the reasoning behind it? What was the reasoning behind it? How were they thinking? It all starts in the mind. So how were they thinking? How were they thinking? What were they thinking? What were they thinking? When you start to recognize that feeling, oh, it makes so much sense. And then you can actually figure out what you want to do in the future to prevent yourself from going into that space of, oh, generational karma. Generational cycles of karma. Like, we don't need to experience this, guys. We don't need to keep experiencing this. Our parents sacrificed so that we would not have to be in these fucking situations. And that's not just an idealistic standpoint. If your parents are alive, ask them, did you do all this so I wouldn't have to? Ask them for real. If your parent is alive, if your father is alive, ask him for real. If your mother is alive, ask her for real. Did you do all of this so that I wouldn't have to suffer? And when the answer comes back, yes, I want you to understand that that's the same responsibility that you have for your bloodline. So now what do you want to do with it? You could play weak, you could play pussy, or you could heal and get the fuck up and continue on with your boss-ass journey. And that's what this page is about. So I'm going to close out with this. Because I'm sweating. I feel like I just gave a sermon, girl. But basically, the bulk of what I just want to finalize on is, as a human, we all go through trauma. This world is traumatizing. It is traumatizing. The thing that we can do to help ourselves the most is to be kind and compassionate to ourselves in the way that we were not taught to be as children in a lot of our households. Because again, I can only speak for me and mine. My mother was compassionate, but when it came to mistakes, she didn't have a lot of, like, there was a short thread, a very, very short thread when it came to mistakes. And she wasn't even as bad as her mother growing up, because her mother was worse. So again, it's generational progress. My mother did better than her mother. Her mother did better than her mother. And so on and so forth. So now I have to do better than both of them. Not on no competition shit, but we're progressing the bloodline. We are progressing the bloodline. So, because the manifestation work that I did for myself helped my family. And I ain't even tell them I did it. So how much more can you do for yourself and your bloodline that you don't even got to tell them? You just got to sit back and do your thing. Like, you remember when in group projects, because this is like a group project, but you remember when we were doing group projects in school and it would be like, oh, damn, I wish I could just do this project by myself because I don't want, this person's not going to do work and that person's not going to do work and, I'm just going to have to do the whole thing by myself anyway. Girl, this is your opportunity. Honey, this is your opportunity. What we do here is we ask the hard questions. I'm going to put on my story a couple inner child work questions. Answer them. You don't have to answer them on my story. You don't have to answer them on my page. You can answer them in your notebook, in your journal, what have you. But just understand that this is work that you're doing to understand the reason why you do the things that you do. The reason why maybe your dad did the shit that he did. The reasons why your mother was involved in the shit that she was involved with. The reasons why your grandparents were involved with the things that they did. The reasons why. Once you start to understand other people's reasons, it's like, okay, yeah, but why do you do what you do? What's been fueling you for all these years? Is it like an internalized fear of being, is it like an internalized fear of not being enough? Because that can't be all that fuels you. Like, you have to see success, to see power, to see, you have to be able to see value in what it is that you create. Not just value in the labor, actually what you are creating, not just your labor. It is not enough for Black people to always just be working fucking hard. I don't give a fuck about hard work. I give a fuck about what you're working towards. Bitch, you could work hard on a fucking couch for 20 years of your fucking life. It's just a couch. Work hard for 25, 30 fucking years at a job that just does the same shit every day. It's 25, 30 years of your life that you gave to a company that, yeah, they may have expanded, but how much did you expand? I don't give a fuck about none of this other shit. I care about what you do. How are you helping yourself? How are you healing yourself? Because all these trauma conversations where we're going through all this, oh, I don't trust this person, I don't trust that person. It's all because we don't trust ourselves. We inherently do not trust our own judgment. And that's the problem. We've been told, oh, yeah, child, you know. Oh, you don't have the experience to deal with that. You don't have you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have what have you. Not realizing that you can learn without going through certain things. You can learn from other people's experiences. I've done it my whole life. Trust. I've not had to make every mistake in the fucking book to learn from it. That's it. And even my mistakes, I don't always learn from them immediately, but that's okay because we put in effort, we put in energy, we try. We make an impact. We try, okay? We make an effort, we make an impact, and we're out. That's it. So, girl, I've been on here too long. But anyway, this is today's shadow work message. I'm gonna try to write down some questions, answer them either for yourself or on the story if you want to. I don't give a fuck. And let's get to healing. Because honestly, I don't know about y'all, but I don't like being in pain for very long. I'll do the healing work. I'll be miserable. I don't give a fuck. But as long as I know I'm going through it, I don't care. It's the sitting in misery shit that I can't do anymore. Like, that shit makes me want to lose it, honestly. So I'm in healing. I'm going to continue to heal. If you want, we can heal together without the open hand. Yeah, I don't know when I'll do another live like this, but hopefully in like a week or so, and then we can go into other like types of trauma and other like topics. Maybe I'll write a script and be more organized. But that's not for today. That's for another day. So I love y'all. Be safe. Take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. Love yourself. Say a prayer tonight. Say Psalm 91 over your life and over your household, over your children, over your children's children. Psalm 91 is a very, very powerful, if you do spell work, it's very, very powerful for that. If you're a Christian, Psalm 91 is powerful and you should already know it. If you grew up with the Bible in the house, I expect you to know Psalm 91. Because 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but what? It shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Okay. And with that, I'm out. Bye, y'all.